Lying comfortably on the floor, having made arrangements not to be disturbed, in a place where you are warm and comfortable. You may need to have your head supported and possibly a blanket over you. Your legs stretched out on the floor, your arms stretched on the floor also, with the palms facing upwards, with a slight space in the armpits. This will allow your shoulder joints to open and release. Noticing how it feels to lie in this posture, keeping the eyes closed if at all possible, resolving to remain as still as possible for the next 15 minutes, knowing that you may have the urge to move or twitch, and that this can often be the mind wanting something to do. Noticing that as we keep the body still, so we can keep the mind still as well. Staying with the sound as if breathing the sound through the ears. Neither holding on to the sound or pushing away the sound, just allowing the sound to be as it is. Knowing that the sound comes and goes like everything else. Noticing how the sound rises and then falls away. Just as with our breath, with our thoughts, rising and falling, coming and going, changing, all the time. Now becoming aware of the whole body here on the floor. The force of gravity going through the floor, into the ground, down into the center of the earth. This force of gravity keeping us here, keeping us alive. Bringing your attention first to your feet. Imagining the breath down there in the feet, as if you're breathing in from the earth into those points in the feet that are in touch with the floor. And then letting go on the out-breath. Letting go of any tension as you let the breath out. Drawing the breath in and up, allowing whatever it is you are feeling. It's okay. Let me accept as best I can what's happening now. And on the out-breath, letting go into the earth. Letting go as best you can. There's no hurry. Letting go as best you can. Being aware of the particular points of the body in touch with the floor. Noticing where the weight is distributed. Noticing any difference between the left and the right foot. As you draw the breath up to that point and let it back down again. As if you were creating a kind of spaciousness in the joints with each breath. Allowing a little bit more space in all the joints of the toes and ankles. Creating a little more space on each in-breath and letting go a little bit more on the out-breath as best you can. Perhaps at this stage simply noticing any tension or holding and simply breathing into that tension. If the mind wanders, that's fine. Just come back again and again to the breath in the body. Moving from the feet into the calves and the knee joints. Noticing the points of contact on the floor. The back of the knees may not be touching the floor. Bringing that sense of spaciousness on the in-breath into the knee joints. As you breathe in, and as you breathe out, letting go. Knowing that in this moment, there's nowhere to go and nothing to do. We're just taking this time to pay kindly attention to our being. This body in which we live and breathe from moment to moment. Now moving up to the hip joints and the buttocks, again noticing how the weight is distributed there. The difference between the left and the right. We can hold a lot of tension in this area. Breathing in that sense of spaciousness into those hip joints, and letting go a little bit more each time as we breathe out. As best you can. And if your mind is distracted, it's okay. Just keep coming back again and again. noticing any resistance that might be there. Now coming to the lower back, the lumbar region, where the spine begins, rising up from there. Noticing that curve in the lower back. Another area we carry a lot of tension. So again, that sense of spaciousness in those joints of the spine, the vertebrae and the discs. All those muscles and tendons around the lower back, the hips. As you breathe in, creating a sense of spaciousness. As you breathe out, letting go. And up into the spine, the shoulder blades, the upper back and the shoulders. Feeling the points of the upper back that are in touch with the floor now. The shoulder blades and the shoulders are another area where there's a lot of tension. We can bring that sense of spaciousness on each in-breath into those joints. And on the out-breath, letting go, as best you can. Telling yourself, it's okay, as you breathe in. And on the out-breath, letting go. It's okay, and letting go. And down to the arms, the elbows and the wrists, into the hands, and all the joints of the hands, fingers, being aware of the many nerve endings there in the hands. It can be easier to bring our attention there. A lot of sensation in the hands. How we handle the world, how we touch the world, how we come to grips with the world. Breathing that sense of spaciousness into the hands, and then letting go on the out-breath. It's okay, and letting go. Noticing if the hands feel tense, if the fingers are tightly gripped, or if they're able to let go a little bit more. There's no right or wrong, just however it is, just noticing. Breathing into the hands and letting go as best you can. Moving up into the back of the neck and the skull, the point of the top of the spine where it meets the skull. Letting go that big weight of the head into the cushion, into the floor. Being aware of that bony structure of the skull there to protect the soft tissue of the brain, right around the whole back of the head, top of the head, sides of the head, protecting the brain. Noticing also the scalp and the hair. Noticing any tingling or itching sensations in the hair or on the scalp. And again, breathing quite deliberately into that whole area, into the head, where all that activity of the brain goes on. All those billions of electrical and chemical reactions that are going on every moment in our brain, and in our body as well. So deliberately breathing this life-giving oxygen up into this very active part of the body, without attaching to the thoughts, just into the physical entity of the brain. Moving around to the forehead and the eyes, then noticing any tension that might be there in the eyes and the forehead. Just breathing into that tension. You don't have to do anything. Breathing that sense of spaciousness and then letting go on the out-breath. Into the jaws, where we carry a lot of tension. Bringing that sense of spaciousness into the jaws and the mouth area, the tongue in the mouth, the throat. Letting go on the out-breath as best you can, and then down into the chest and abdomen, again creating that sense of spaciousness, and then letting go. Noticing the involuntary movement of the breath and the body. Just being curious about how the breath works in the body. Notice that movement. Where is that movement coming from? Especially on the in-breath. We let the breath go, and suddenly we have the impulse to breathe in. the impulse comes to us to breathe in again. Life breathes in through us. You don't have to do anything, just letting go, as best you can. And noticing what kind of breath you have at this moment. Does it feel deep and nourishing down in the tummy? Is it short and shallow in the chest? Is that your normal breathing? We tend to hold our breath in the chest. Again, without any judgment, just noticing, this is how I breathe. Rising and falling, rising and falling. And being aware of the 4 parts of the breath. You breathe in, then there's a slight pause. You breathe out, and there's a slightly longer pause. And then there's this sudden impulse to breathe in again. Life breathing through us. We're just lying back, observing, developing our wise mind, our observing mind. Not getting caught up in anything, just observing with a compassionate mind and heart. Noticing the heart area, the left side of the chest. Breathing in there into the heart, quite deliberately. Being aware of the heartbeat if you can. It may feel numb, or it may feel strong, or it may feel weak, fast or slow, strained or easy, heavy or light. Just noticing whatever it is in your heart right now. There's no right or wrong, no judgment necessary. You're just observing your beating heart. As best you can, in a heartful way, in a compassionate way. This is how I am. Noticing all of these forces, gravity, breath, heartbeat, and the mind, and all the senses, all working away. You don't have to do anything. All of these life-giving forces keeping us alive. Bringing our attention to them so they're working all together, mind and body and breath and gravity, rising and falling with the breath, letting go. Telling yourself, it's okay, I'm doing the best I can. It's okay, and letting go. It's okay, and letting go. Again and again and again. It's okay, and letting go. And notice if there's any resistance. Now being aware of the whole body. The whole body breathing, as in fact it is, as we breathe through the skin. The whole body breathing here right now. On each in-breath, it's okay. And on each out-breath, letting go. Okay, letting go. The whole body from the tips of the toes to the top of the head. Creating that sense of spaciousness right throughout the whole body as you breathe in. And letting go a little bit more on each out-breath, as best you can. In a mindful, heartful, breathful way. And again, bringing your attention to the sound, your sense of hearing, and other sounds around you. Imagining your whole body hearing the sound, absorbing the vibrations of the sound. Your whole body, your whole mind, your whole breath, your whole heart, absorbing the vibrations of the sound. Absorbing that sound and absorbing all the sounds around you now. Bringing your attention to the sounds in the room around you and outside. Breathing in those sounds. And preparing to open your eyes slowly. And again, absorbing colors and shapes and textures with your eyes and your whole body. Slowly opening out to your room and to the world. And in your own time, moving your body mindfully and preparing to end. Bringing some of this mindfulness and heartfulness to the rest of your day.